there's a story, a famous story from someone called Hatim al-Asm. Hatim al-Asm is a famous scholar, and Imam al-Dhahabi says about him, he says he was the Luqman radiallahu anhu of the era of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he was known to be very pious. And this is a story that I've shared before, but I love the way that it is framed, whereby he wanted to go on Hajj one day. But he was quite poor. He had lots of family, he had lots of children, girls and boys. And so when he wanted to go to Hajj, he said to his wife that, I want to go Hajj, is it okay if I go? And she turns around and she says, look, you don't have enough provision. Go another time when you're able to. So he goes to the other sibling, to his sons and daughters. They say, yeah, maybe another time. We need you around. And so he goes to his bint al-saghira, his young daughter, one of the youngest. He says, do you mind if I go? And then she says, yes, go inshallah, don't worry. Allah Azza wa Jalla will look after us. And so he manages to convince everyone because of this little girl. And he puts on his ihram and he leaves. And he leaves some provision for them, some money. So as he's gone, over time, the provision is decreasing. They're getting less and less. And so now a bit of squabbling happens. The mother and the siblings, they say to the young daughter, oh, look what you've done. Look at what's happening to us because you told your father to go and now we don't have enough money. And so it came to a point where the girl was getting a bit upset, a bit worried. And so it's mentioned that she would go up into her room and she would put her hands in the air and she would look in the sky. And she said, Allahumma anta al-haq wa qawluka al-haq. Oh Allah, you are the truth. And your saying is the truth. وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. That whoever fears Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then He will take him out from every difficulty. And He will provide for him from sources he cannot imagine. And then, conveniently, as you know, in these stories, mashallah, what happens? The door knocks. And so the mother goes to the door. She opens the door and she sees someone in official attire. And they say to the woman, they say, do you have any water? And the woman says, yes, we can bring water. And she finds out that it's the wazir, the governor who's coming with some of his entourage outside. And so they give some water to the individual. They go to the wazir drinks the water. And he's going through this particular town. And he looks at the water, he said, this is a sweet water. Whose house is this? And his people say that this is the house of Hatim al-Asm. And he said, this is beautiful. Smile. Is he there? I want to meet him. And so they say he's gone on Hajj. And so he looks in the house, he looks at the family, he sees that they're a bit, poor and a bit weak. And then he sees with his eye of rahmah, he looks at them, he takes out one of those, those pockets of gold, as you see maybe in Urtugul, and he throws it into the house. And then he turns to his entourage, he says to his entourage, that whoever loves me will do the same. And so everyone takes their pouches and they throw it into the house of Hatim al-Asm. Everyone is jubilant. The mother is jubilant. The sons and the daughters, everyone is so happy. And they're looking and this is subhanAllah, this is from Allah. But they look at the girl who first said that for the father to go for Hajj. And they see that she's crying. And so the mother turns around and says, what is up with you? She says, you were wanting him to go, and when he went and we were finding difficulty, you were happy, you were fine. But now that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us this rizq and this sustenance, now you are crying? And she goes, Ya Ummah, my mother, she goes, the reason I'm crying is because I see that when this person, this makhluk, this creation of Allah, looks at us with an eye of mercy, look what we receive from Allah. Can you imagine that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of the worlds, looks at us with the eye of mercy?